Good morning, everybody. I'm Adam Atchison. We're going to get right to your forecast as we begin this 5 o'clock hour. KRQE is standing by live from Balloon Fiesta Park. How is it looking out there as we anticipate the launch, Kristen?
Not bad, Adam. Really, day 4 of Balloon Fiesta. A little bit of wind, some clouds overhead, but no rain falling here in the metro. Did have a few of those strong storms move through the metro late last night, but if you take a look at radar, only a few spot showers down to the south of us, moving into the southeastern plains, and they're starting to fade out. So I'm really not too concerned about the morning activity. It's this afternoon that we got to get ready for some strong storms. Hey, let's talk temps for a second because it's chilly out here. Upper 50s here in Albuquerque, but the 40s further to the north. Alamosa down to 43, Taos 46, with those upper 50s to low 60s lining the southern state line. So make sure you have a jacket before you leave the house this morning, especially for the kiddos walking to the bus stop. But increasing storms and showers will be the focus for today's forecast. We got a storm system moving out of Southern California that will help trigger some scattered to widespread storms this afternoon. We're even looking at the potential for some severe storms to fire up out over the southwestern corner. Later on this week, we'll get back to the sunny skies and the warm temps, but really it's today and tomorrow that we're going to be watching for those storm chances while temperatures stay put in the 60s and 70s. So I'll break down that full forecast for you. We'll go over what we think when it comes to this morning's launch coming up here in about 10 minutes.
All right, Kristen, we'll see you then. Minute past the hour happening today. Albuquerque voters will voice their choices on some high-profile issues. They're going to decide upon 4 city council seats, a proposed tax increase for biopark improvements, and a proposal to allow the city council to approve the hiring and firing of police and fire chiefs. Election officials told us yesterday that more than 9,500 people voted early, and out of the 1,200 absentee ballots mailed out, about 863 were returned. The polls open in just a couple of hours. Now they open at 7 o'clock and will go through 7 o'clock p.m. For a complete list of items on the ballot and voting locations, download the KRQE News app. Also developing right now, 2 CYFD employees are under investigation in 2 separate incidents. State police are investigating Jonathan Brown, a corrections officer at the Youth Detention Center. He was placed on paid leave last month. Robert Gerlach, the superintendent of the CYFD's Albuquerque Reintegration Center, was placed on paid leave in August. CYFD says it is investigating Gerlach. They will not say why in either case. An Albuquerque business owner accused of scamming customers is closing her doors now. The customer says Tammy Kelly, who owns Kids Shack, a consignment store, wrote her a bad check. On Sunday, we showed you video of them in a heated argument. It led to a Facebook fight with dozens of Kelly's customers coming forward saying they've had problems with her too. Kelly has served time for check fraud in the past, but denies treating customers badly. Kelly announced she was closing yesterday. This morning, the search for survivors from a missing cargo ship continues, but so far, crews have found only 1 body. This morning, family members of the 28 missing crew members aboard the El Faro ship want to know why the cargo ship sailed straight into the eye of the hurricane. The boat sent out its last communication, a distress call that it had lost power.
I don't know why they didn't just steer the ship in a different direction. This is totally unacceptable.
So far, the Coast Guard, as I mentioned, has found 1 body wearing a survival suit, pieces of a lifeboat that could hold 43 people, life rings, and an oil slick. The NTSB will head to Jacksonville to conduct an investigation. Happening this week, President Obama is expected to visit with relatives of the victims of last week's community college shooting in Oregon. He's expected to travel there on Friday for a series of private meetings. Classes won't resume at Umpqua Community College until next week. Last Thursday, a gunman opened fire in classrooms there, killing 9 people and injuring 9 others. Soon after the shooting, President Obama expressed impatience with the lack of changes to gun legislation, despite numerous mass shootings over the past few years. Police in San Francisco this morning are looking for an armed robber who attacked a man. It was all caught on camera. Watch. The San Francisco Police Department released the video of the whole thing on YouTube. They say Bill Oxidine was in his garage last Monday when he was attacked by that man with a gun. He and his attacker struggled. Oxidine was able to get the gun away from the alleged robber. But when the man ran away, police say Oxidine aimed the gun. He didn't shoot. He says the gun jammed. Police say there was actually no clip in the gun. The attacker got away. Police hope that this video will help lead them to the suspect. Meantime, Santa Fe police are trying to identify a young woman who they say stole an elderly lady's purse. This happened at the Walmart on Cerrillos Road. Police say the suspect took that purse out of a shopping basket and it had the victim's entire life savings in it. 5:05 now, a new look and a bigger fit. New Sun vans hit the streets of Albuquerque later this month. They'll replace the old ones. Not only do the vans look different, they can also fit more passengers, including 3 with wheelchairs. The city says these vans will be more comfortable.
Every day, almost 900 disabled passengers depend on Sun Van to get them to where they need to go. That's about 20,000 passengers every month, and as I said earlier, that's about 240,000 people a year.
The city is unveiling 40 of the new vans. Some Albuquerque neighbors are celebrating this morning. That's after the city replaced a beloved symbol. It's brought one neighborhood together since the 1970s. Back in 1976, a group of 5 families on June Street near Indian School in Juan Tabo painted a star on their street. That was the year of the United States bicentennial. Since then, every 4th of July, neighbors have held a party to touch it up.
I would fix pancakes for whomever is here, homemade, scratch.
Oh, that sounds delicious, doesn't it? Earlier this year, the street was repaved. The star was covered up, but this past Saturday, the city had it professionally done to keep that long-standing tradition alive. Very neat pictures. A little breakfast, too, for those that worked on it. We're keeping our eyes on the skies this morning, waiting to see if the balloons will launch from Balloon Fiesta Park, and that's where Crystal Gutierrez is live today with a look at how things are shaping up. Crystal, good morning.
Good morning again, Adam. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, a little damp this morning, kind of cool, but overall not too bad. Take a look at Vendor Row here. Things are slowly getting underway this morning as people start making their way into Balloon Fiesta Park. Vendors are ready to go, and they're really hoping that today the launch goes off without a hitch, because yesterday a lot of people really didn't come out. As you can see, people are slowly making their way down Vendor Row, getting their cup of joe, maybe a breakfast burrito. Also, the laser light show is going to take place probably about an hour, but it looks like they're testing things out so far. It's been scheduled for 6:40, but it's been happening around 6 o'clock every morning. That's around the time Dawn Patrol is expected to take off as well. Also, keep in mind that the launch is expected to take place around 7 o'clock this morning, followed by a flying competition at 8 o'clock. We'll have all of that coverage for you, of course, on 2 Casa. But for now, we're going to send things back to you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Adam Atchison. We're starting a Tuesday, October 6th. We can get right to Kristen Curry, who's live at Balloon Fiesta Park with a quick look at your morning forecast. Hey, Kristen.
Good morning, Adam. I'm pretty sure this is the only week out of the year where my hair actually gets bigger as the show goes on because it's so humid out here. I have a lot of moisture, temperatures in the 40s and 50s. We're having fun already. It's not too early to have a little fun, but you'll notice the temperatures out there a little cool, and the radar showing a few of the showers. I want to pop that up to show you the showers are mainly down to the southeast. They're fading out on us, which is good news for the launch this morning. Nothing falling here in the metro area, but as we transition to look at those current temps, make sure you have a jacket this morning because like yesterday, it's a cool start, and even this afternoon, not a great warm up. We're back down into those upper 60s to low 70s. So for today, we're talking scattered showers and storms out over the western half of the state. That does include central New Mexico and us here in Albuquerque. Cool and cloudy through the day as we transition into tomorrow, another active day of storms. Then by later this week and into the weekend, we got sunny skies and warm temperatures on tap. So I'm going to go over the details of today's storm chances. We'll also check out the outlook for the launch this morning. All that coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, Kristen, we'll see you then. Developing this morning. Meantime, police will be checking security cameras, trying to figure out who stole part of a community project. The thieves destroyed a lot of hard work. The nonprofit group North Campus Community Project has been working on building a community garden for more than a year. With the help of neighbors, they built a dozen raised garden beds, but Monday morning, all of them were gone. The idea for the garden is for neighbors to grow fresh produce and give elderly and low-income residents access to better food. Organizers say they're baffled by the theft.
They're heavy, and in thinking they're just wood, pieces of wood down on the ground, and knowing that this intersection is very well lit, really surprised us.
UNM Hospital runs surveillance cameras across the street. If we find out there is video of the theft, we're going to do our best to show you. To find out how to help or for more information about that project, just open the KRQE News app. 5:33, the attorney for one of the teens accused of beating 2 homeless men to death in Albuquerque says he's now working to clear his name. Alex Rios won't take a plea deal. He was in court yesterday for his last chance to accept one before going to trial later this month. Police say Rios, Nathaniel Carrillo, and Gilbert Tafoya beat 3 homeless men in a dirt lot last year. 2 of them died. Rios' attorney claims he can exonerate him. Investigators are now working to figure out how a dozen barrels of used oil ended up in an arroyo. The Bernalillo County Public Works Department says it got a call midday on Monday from a contractor at a P&M work site in southwest Albuquerque. The county says there's no trace right now of who left it there.
Someone has taken 11 barrels of what appears to be automotive fluids or waste oil and just dumped them off carelessly off into the arroyo.
The oil has been cleaned up. County officials say it will likely cost several $1,000s. P&M says its contractors reviewed video from security cameras but did not see anything. 5:34 right now. Happening today, the hardest hit parts of South Carolina are getting federal money. President Obama just signed a disaster declaration for that state last night. At least 12 people, meantime, are dead in North and South Carolina, and forecasters say the danger far from over. Right now, authorities are watching several waterlogged dams that could overflow. Flooding has already shut down hundreds of bridges and roads in that state, something that Governor Nikki Haley warned will continue.
You're going to start to see road closures down from the Midlands down to the Low Country as that water flows. So don't be surprised. If there's a road that's open now, that doesn't mean it's going to stay open.
Over the weekend, some cities saw more than 20 inches of rain. Now some towns are completely cut off and may be forced to start over. We'll stay on top of this. Happening now, California's new right to die law will likely take effect next year. Governor Jerry Brown signed the bill yesterday, making California the 5th state where terminally ill people can take life-ending drugs. Brittany Maynard brought national attention to that issue last year. She was living in California when she was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer and moved to Oregon so that she could legally take medication to end her life. Later this month, our state Supreme Court will begin hearing arguments on the very same issue. The case at the center of it all in New Mexico began in Santa Fe. Aja Riggs is a cancer patient who's been fighting for the right to die for years. She believes it's a fundamental right for terminally ill patients who are mentally competent. Arguments begin in court on October 26th. The fate of Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl remains unclear as we begin this Tuesday. After presiding over a hearing last month, an Army officer made his recommendation over whether Bergdahl should face a court-martial yesterday. The Army's not revealing what that officer is recommending. Bergdahl is accused of walking off his post in 2009. He was later captured by the Taliban and held for nearly 5 years. He's charged with desertion and misbehavior before the enemy, and he could face life in prison. New this morning, the wife of the American Airlines pilot who died during a cross-country flight says she was told he most likely died of a heart attack. Captain Michael Johnston had a medical emergency on that flight from Phoenix to Boston on Monday morning. The flight was eventually diverted to New York and the co-pilot landed the plane. Nobody else was injured, but Johnston was pronounced dead on scene on the ground. His wife says that Johnston died doing what he loved.
He knew that he wanted to be a pilot, knew that that was what he wanted to do. And if nothing else, I'm grateful that that's what he was doing. You know, that he was doing what he loved and happy. I know that that's something that made him very happy to be out there flying.
Johnston suffered from heart issues. He had double bypass surgery in 2006. A coach is out of jail on bond this morning, accused of punching a ref during a youth football game. And you can see the attack unfold on video. Watch if you have a moment to look at your screen. Deputies say Leo Davis told them that he pushed the ref in an attempt to break up a fight that started after an upsetting call in Florida. But investigators believe the video tells a different story. Authorities say the large group starts to gather on the field after the call when the 36-year-old punched the ref, starting the fight, they say, not stopping it. Many people go to Balloon Fiesta Park to see the early morning launch, but the park has a lot more to offer. We're going to turn to Crystal Gutierrez. She's live this morning at Balloon Fiesta Park. What do you have for us, Crystal?
Oh, good morning once again, Adam. So Kristen is now on her second cup of coffee. So I've decided, you know what, I'm going to stop by and get her a little snack this morning. As you know, a lot of Fiesta goers do, they stop by to see the vendors. Take a look down vendor row. As you can see, things are slowly getting underway. A lot of people are making their way into the park this morning, and that's great news for vendors because Monday and Tuesday are typically the slowest days rather for business for the vendors here. But there's one vendor that has something unique. You won't won't find at any other booths. Joining us this morning is Lacey with Williams Concessions. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
So tell me, you have deep fried Snickers bars and deep fried Oreos. I don't think I've ever heard of the Oreos. I've heard of the Snickers bar before. It only takes, what, a couple of seconds?
Yes, it does. It only takes probably about maybe a minute and a half to 2 minutes to cook each one. Yes.
Okay. And it's the same process that you do maybe for a chicken strip, right?
You could, yes. It's just you just deep fry it into your funnel cake batter, dip it in, and throw it in the fryer, and it cooks up. Go back, put a little bit of powdered sugar, maybe some strawberry whipped cream, some chocolate or caramel in it, and you go down the road. They are phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's something completely different that we typically see down Vendor Row. She also has deep fried burgers and deep fried hot dogs. You've done that before.
Yes, many times.
So if you're wanting something unique, you could definitely find it here on Vendor Row. We're going to send it back to you, Adam.
Oh, thanks so much, Crystal. Those deep fried Oreos sound great. Now, she and Kristen Curry are live with full coverage of today's balloon launch beginning at 7 a.m. on 2 Casa. Open the KRQE News app for Balloon Fiesta news, traffic, and pictures all morning long.